Good evening, this is the World News on your Premium Talk, News and Sports radio station, Today95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. The berthing of largest container vessel at Onne Port, Rivers State, continues to excite stakeholders in the maritime sector. Rivers State House of Assembly expresses satisfaction with level of preparedness of state government for conduct of examinations for exit classes. Market Bill Monio announces resignation over pandemic spending. Now the details. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has set a live television program. He said despite inheriting so many uncompleted projects, his driving force has been not to follow in such stead, but be committed to delivering promises made to Rivers people. Reports have emerged of low turnout of businessmen and women as well as business activities in some markets in parts of Port Harcourt. You would recall that Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike had in a state broadcast announced the reopening of markets except for the slaughter and oil mill markets. A correspondent would operate.
Because that might be on that power side, sometimes they keep sleep there. Then they will see sleep one crossroad. Then wait, it's not already by 2 pocket of it.
Meanwhile, Rivers State House of Assembly has expressed satisfaction. Ahiakwo said this while speaking with correspondent Victor Eziama about the hydrocarbon pollution remediation process has been questioned by the civil society legislative IPREP.
So their statement is viewed as a deliberate the substance of the 70% completion. It will be important for the help
of Admiralty lawyers in his reaction to the arrival of the ship said the berthing of the mess that adequate checks be carried out on the vessel to ensure that it does not pose any threat to Rivers.
Open greater vistas of investment opportunities for critical stakeholders, shippers, and government agencies. Of the blessings of the berthing of this vessel could well be the miracle palliative that God may have decided to endow on Nigerians, while lauding the Nigerian Port Authority and other government agencies in the role they have played to ensure the successful arrival of this vessel. We must advise that the government must still not lose its guard in ensuring that proper and adequate checks are carried out.
Berthing of the biggest container vessel to ever call at any Nigerian port, the masculine Stadelhorn vessel with length overall of 300 that was received at the Federal Ocean Terminal Onne in Rivers State last weekend. You're listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Stay tuned.
Depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today 95.1 FM.
This program is designed to educate the people and give detailed progress reports on the Ogoni Cleanup project.
The show will also feature high-profile interviews and discussions with relevant stakeholders on the cleanup exercise. We shall be presented with weekly updates and discussions on burning issues on the cleanup exercise.
Tune in every Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to get all the information about the Ogoni.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on.
You're still listening to the World News on your Premium Talk News and Sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM. Presidential aide Loretta Onoche has cautioned the General Overseer of Living Faith Church Worldwide, popularly called Winners Chapel, David Oyedepo, against criticizing the country. However, Pastor Oyedepo had during his sermon last Sunday rejected the terms of the CAMA, which proposes to appoint trustees on the management of churches. The General Overseer of Winners Chapel said the enforcement of the act would be a direct assault on God by Nigeria.
The government has no right to determine worship time. I saw something nasty. They call it CAMA, Company and Allied Matters Act. And they boggled religious bodies into it. The same thing they did 2 years ago when I shouted on the devil. The same laws were used that one registrar general can decide to close the account of a church. And then some fellows under any caution that will stop now. We are the bride of Christ. Anyone that touches his bride touches the apple of his eye.
But Loretta Onoche, who is the special assistant to the president on social media, wondered why Bishop David Oyedepo is against the new law. Onoche therefore argued that since Winners Chapel is regulated in the United Kingdom by the government's Charity Commission, same can be replicated in Nigeria for religious organizations. Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai has said that his administration is installing closed-circuit televisions, CCTVs, in southern Kaduna as part of Zaria metropolitan areas, build a command and control center, and establish a forensic laboratory. The absence of the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, and officials from the Debt Management Office has stalled the public hearing by the House of Representatives Committee on Treaties and Protocols by 1 week. Speaking during the resumption of the hearing, Chairman of the committee, Nicholas Osai, wondered why the minister and the officials from the debt man not interrogate the agencies in their absence. He therefore asked his colleagues to deliberate on the matter, suggesting that they adjourn for 1 week to carry the government official.
More importantly, the Minister of Finance, who signed most of these agreements with other countries. So we cannot interrogate the other agency without this body being around.
Committee Festus Okoye stated this in an interview with newsmen in Abuja. Party primaries and submitted the name of one Peter David as its deputy governorship candidate.
Or above, before such a person can be qualified to contest for that particular position. Now, the party itself, on the 21st of September, replied the letter written to them by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And the Commission of the party files an appeal within a period of 21 days from the date of the delivery of the judgment that the Independent National Electoral Commission should wait until until the candidate exhausts his or her constitutional right to appeal. And it also says that during this particular period, the candidate in question will remain in office until the determination of that particular matter. So the commission will not even take any step until the expiration of a period of 21 days. If at the expiration of 21 days, the candidate does not appeal and the commission does not appeal, then the commission will now be under a constitutional and legal obligation to conduct the said election within a period of 90.
The Bayelsa State Governorship Elections Petitions Tribunal sitting in Abuja had nullified the election of Governor Diri. The Justice Stabil Mornew has announced his resignation on the heels of an ethics scandal and amid a reported split with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau over pandemic spending. Mornew, who has held the post since 2015, told a news conference that he met with Trudeau to inform him that he would not run in the next elections and that a new finance minister with a long-term outlook was needed. Mornew said he would now run for the job of Secretary General of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. For the past week, Canadian media had reported on a purported reef pandemic. Trudeau is also being probed over his family ties to the We charity, which paid his wife, popularly known as Fowles, has called on the federal government to reopen the entertainment industry. Fowles made the call in a thread of tweets shortly after the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, announced August 29th as the reopening date for international flights. Fowles noted that the federal government has reopened restaurants, airlines, markets, places of worship, and political rallies, but have refused to allow the entertainment industry to function. Like most public places, cinemas, bars, lounges, beaches, and other recreational outlets were shut in March to curtail the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. And in sports, Barcelona has announced the sacking of sporting director Eric Abidal following their humiliating exit from the UEFA Champions League. The Blaugrana were trashed 8-2 by German champions Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals last week Friday. Manager Kike Setien has already been shown the door, with the club's former defender Ronald Koeman being tipped to replace him. And now Abidal, another former player at the club, has been removed from the role he held since June 2018. Abidal's relationship with Lionel Messi had become strained in recent months, with Messi claiming that the Frenchman had been singling out players for blame amid the sacking of former boss. And markets across Rivers State have recorded a slow start after Governor Nyesom Wike lifted the ban on markets in the state. The Rivers State House of Assembly has expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness of the state government for the conduct of examinations for exit classes. The berthing of the largest container vessel at the On-Air port in Rivers State has continued to excite stakeholders in the maritime sector. On the foreign scene, we told you that Canada's Finance Minister Bill 8657 or 08144343502 or send your emails to news@today.fm on the running water.
Today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
iPrep in action on Today FM.
He was only able to score 2 yesterday, but Romelu Lukaku also came through as Inter Milan whitewashed, pummeled, decimated, cut in pieces, tear in shreds. Shakhtar Donetsk, or tore in shreds rather, in pieces. And it ended 5-0 in favor of Inter Milan. On that note, I welcome you to Soccer Football for Snowboard, and I'm set to fly you through the ever-exciting world of football. I'm not alone in the building. I've got Victor Oriahi. Victor, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Wisdom. Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone listening. It is really... Well, I think... I sort of saw it coming. Mikel Obi did talk about how he wanted to remain in England, and despite Benevento right there in Italy as well, he's been getting some number of offers, but he said he wants to be close to his girlfriend and his daughters. They reside right there in England. So when I heard the speculations that he might just be signing for Stoke City, I knew it was going to be happening, because Stoke City right now, yes, they've played in the English Premier League before, but last season they escaped relegation. I mean, they were 15th on the log. They could have dropped if not for the last run of games that they've had. I think it might be good for him as a player, still trying to get a taste of professional football. And I mean, who knows, he could just help Stoke City back to the English Premier League.
All right, moving on. Let's tell you that not completely a Nigerian story, but Ghana coach CK Akono has revealed admiration for Nigeria's national team player pool enhancement model. Nigerian player pool enhancement model of actively pursuing footballers of Nigerian descent in the diaspora. In recent years, the Super Eagles have boosted their squad with the likes of Alex. Here's the thing. Akono is saying that Ghana must toe the line of Nigeria in also wooing stars to come play for them. Victor, we are actually condemning this because it's killing our league and maybe not giving too many opportunities to the guys who are at home. But Ghana sees it as very commendable character.
Well, you know what they usually say, one man's food is another man's poison. This is something that the Nigerian football faithfuls and the lovers of football in the country has been clamoring for the Nigerian Football Federation to stop poaching Nigerian players of Nigerian descent who probably ply their trade somewhere in Europe or just out of the shores of the country. Now we've been hearing, I mean, every single week you seem to hear new names or so of the Nigerian doing so well. For Ghana saying they want to tattoo that same, they hope they can get their players. I mean, it just shows you that it's quite obvious that the players that we bring in sort of bring in quality to the team. And that's the truth. I mean, you cannot hide it in any way. You bring in a certain Alex Iwobi, he contributed his own quality-wise. Ola Aino did the same thing. We had Joe Aribo as well, who has gotten 2 goals in his 2 appearances for the country. William Troost Ekong, Leon Balogun. Almost, you look at our team and you can say almost 50% of our team mates or of the Super Eagles squad is probably
made in Europe.
Yeah, probably made in Europe. So they're saying they're saying that the Super Eagles are somehow getting the job done with these players. So I think I understand where the Ghanaian coach is coming from.
All right, copy, but make sure it works with you. Don't just copy anything. But they have Eddie Nketiah, they have Lamptey. 1 or 2 names I feel could be very decent addition to the Ghanaian team. Ebere Chieze has been nominated for the Championship Fans Player of the Year award. The Queen's Park Rangers midfielder will battle Leeds United's Luke Ayling, Matthews Pereira of West Bromwich Albion, and Brentford's duo Saeed Benrahma and Oli Watkins for the individual prize. A good one for him while his future is still in doubt. Several English Premier League clubs are facing a stumbling block in their bid to sign promising Nigerian winger Kitan Aaron Jayoba. Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, Leicester City and Brighton have showed interest in signing the 1999 born player, but a proposed deal will hit a snag because he does not have a British or European Union passport. and has no caps for the Super Eagles. Championship outfit Bristol City are also keeping tabs on Jayoba, but are unlikely to sign him because he wouldn't be eligible to play for them. Jayoba, nicknamed Kato, is currently studying for a degree at SGS College in Bristol, whilst training full-time with ex-Leeds United manager and former Hull City winger David Hockaday. The 21-year-old has been described as an extremely fast winger who can go past his markers with ease, causing a constant threat to the opposition. Very nice story. Went there to school, but decided to play football a little. And now clubs are thinking of securing his services. Good one for him. Let's move over to Europe. And Victor, we start with what happened last night. Inter Milan defeating Shakhtar Donetsk. What do you make of that one?
Well, first of all, I mean, Antonio Conte somehow just knows how to win trophies. When he came into Inter,
he's not won the trophy yet.
Yeah, he has not won the trophy yet, but I tell you, he's been going a step closer every single game. It's more of a step closer in the right direction. A lot of persons were annoyed or upset that he let the title sleep, the Scudetto sleep just within his grasp, and eventually Juventus went in to clinch the title for a ninth consecutive time. But you want to look at the way Inter Milan has been outseeing their opponents. They've outshone in most of the games, and right now they are currently in the final of the UEFA Europa League. It's a great one, I tell you, for Antonio Conte's men and for Romelu Lukaku, a certain man who at the point in time it seemed, how was he going to go on for Romelu Lukaku? A lot of persons began to wonder, is there anything that Lukaku can still offer football, especially after leaving Manchester United, and somehow he made that move to Italy and he has recovered that form in his early or in his prime days while he was playing for Everton, when he was banging the goals. I mean, quite impressive for both Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez. I do not see Martinez remaining at Inter Milan next season. Fantastic player, age is still on his side, and you look at it and say the future is just bright for the Argentine youngster. Probably he might just be teaming up with who knows, compatriot Lionel Messi at Barcelona.
I don't want to talk about Barcelona today, but the coach is out. Kike Setien is out, and rumors has it that it will be Ronald Koeman. But
not just the coach, you also have Eric Abidal. Eric
Abidal is also the sporting director. A lot on that team, but let me just do them the honors of not talking about them today. The opening match of the 2020-2021 French top flight season has been postponed after 4 positive COVID-19 tests at Marseille. Marseille were due to host Saint-Etienne on Friday in the first of 8 weekend fixtures in Ligue 1. The 2019-2020 campaign was curtailed in April because of the coronavirus pandemic, with Paris Saint-Germain 12 points clear at the top, awarded the title. Marseille vs Saint-Etienne will now be played on either 16th or 17th of September. Maybe they know what they were carrying, and maybe that's why they decided not to even resume the league. But as I told you earlier, yes, we're supposed to report it. Barcelona sacked coach Kike Setien, and former Barcelona defender Ronald Koeman is the man who has been tipped to replace him. Maybe an announcement will be made in the coming hours.
Yeah, reports have it that he's already right there in Catalonia, probably to just finish up the deal.
Paperwork.
So who knows? This week, we might just be having that announcement of Ronald Koeman stepping in as the manager of Barcelona.
Barcelona goalkeeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen is likely to be out until November following an operation to his knee. The club has confirmed the German international underwent successful surgery on his right patella tendon on Tuesday. Barca confirmed in a statement that the procedure had been a success, and ter Stegen is now facing a recovery period of 2.5 months. Bad news for them. But outside Barcelona and the fact that their sporting director has been sacked, Eric Abidal, coach sacked, now ter Stegen, let's talk about one man who is happy. Joe Hart. He's thanked Tottenham for showing faith in him as he looks to bounce back from what he describes as a difficult spell in his career. The goalkeeper signed a 2-year deal with Spurs on Tuesday, joining captain Hugo Lloris and Paulo Gazzaniga as Jose Mourinho's options between the sticks. Now 33, Hart's career has been on a downward trajectory since Pep Guardiola took over as Manchester City boss in 2016. Victor, good one for Joe Hart.
Yeah, I mean, he's been impressive sort of in his own way. And remember Joe Hart in his prime days with Manchester City. But whatever decision he makes, I think, he's done his bit. Right now, whatever he chooses to do, not a bad one for him at all.
Victor, before we get to the Champions League, Ronald Koeman will be out of the Netherlands job if he joins Barcelona. We're hearing Arsene Wenger might be on his way.
Well,
is it a possibility?
It's very possible. I mean, Ronald Koeman would obviously not think of running both Netherlands national team and then Barcelona as well. So who knows? As in Wenger, I think a lot of persons already, they miss this man in management, although some people believe he's sort of a cake and may need to modify his mentality and the way he does things if he's going to be coming back into the managerial position. We've seen him still stay in touch with the football world, but not as a manager. Whatever decision, whatever happens, if he's going to be Arsene Wenger taking care of the L'Orange of Netherlands, I mean, I would be looking forward to seeing that one.
All right, PSG can secure a long-awaited Champions League final spot tonight, but will have to produce a top performance to beat RB Leipzig. Leipzig boss Julian Nagelsmann is out to get the better of opposite number Thomas Tuchel, who encouraged him to become a coach when the pair worked together at Augsburg 12 years ago. Kylian Mbappe is in for this one. Angel Di Maria is in for this one. The only man missing for the RB Leipzig side will be Timo Werner. Victor, where would you be putting your money tonight?
I will put my money on RB Leipzig. I think...
you think Leipzig would beat PSG?
Yeah, I feel so. I mean, I saw the game between PSG and Atalanta, and I feel like Atalanta should have the game and so considered 2 quick goals that saw PSG advance to the next day of the competition. RB Leipzig on their own compact team, and for a team to perform excellently well against an Atletico Madrid side that are the masters when it comes to defending. Somehow they got the job done. I was so impressed with the last game I saw of RB Leipzig. Not too impressed with what I saw of PSG. If they say you're only as good as your last game. You look at both last games, I want to believe that RB Leipzig will be able to get this one. I mean, we might just be having an all-German final.
All right, to the transfer tidbits. Brighton face a battle to keep hold of Ben White with last season's Premier League top 6, all interested in the young centre-back. And now the Sun claims Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Leicester and Tottenham have all contacted the Seagulls about the highly rated ace. Brighton want as much as £50 million for the man. Meanwhile, Leeds' bold move for former PSG striker Edinson Cavani looks set to be scuppered by Benfica. Contacted Watford about Abdoulaye Doucouré. French midfielder Doucouré saw a £30 million move fall through. Fighting to eat and we wonder.
This is Today 95. Press 5.
Mary, what's wrong? Are you okay? I came immediately I got your message.
I'm not, Theresa. I was raped and I feel so helpless and scared. I don't know what to do.
Oh dear, I'm sorry about that. You need to get medical care immediately.
No, sis. I can't go to any health facility right now with all that's going on with COVID-19.
You don't have to worry about that. Doctors Without Borders provides infection prevention measures at their clinic. They also provide free and confidential treatment to victims of rape and other cases of sexual violence. This includes treatment to prevent 890060.
Tell me what you want. I can be your friend.
You can bank on it. You can put 100 grand on it. Wear my vest and clean my corner. I ain't going out, brother. You can bank on it. You can put 100 really. Cause I walk around with the bank on me. Shoot them Gangnam style, put the gang on them. Twist my fingers up and bang on them. Oh yeah. Nobody know tomorrow. And if a boy feel macho, make him lick red like a tomato. If him not dead, then him comatose. Go for low. As the day comes, as I go on, I know what you've had me come from. Grand on it. Anything I said, I stand on it. In a private plane, I land on it. Lele them they call me bank on it. Cause I walk around with a bank on me. Show them Gangnam style, put the gang on them. Twist my fingers up and bang on them. You can bank on it. You can put 100 grand on it. Anything I said, I stand on it. In a private
100 grand on it. Anything I said, I stand on it. In a private plane, I land on it. Lele who them they call me bank call it. Cause I walk around with a bank on me. Show them Gangnam style with a gang on it. Twist my fingers up and bang on it. Lele who, lele who.
Now I had to give Burna Boy a round of applause for what he just did on that song. Like I literally want to shed tears right now. When you look at something so great, so nice, you just feel your soul just elevating into a different realm when you listen to that song. Bank on It by Burna Boy. Off your radio muse, your exotic zaddy dripping with opulence. And today is a very beautiful, thrilling, very special analyst himself.
Oh.
Anytime I drag him into the studio, just know it's going to go down.
Yeah, for sure.
Perry Pizzy.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm great, Dave. Wow. It's great.
You were still feeling
I'm
the
still
vibe
feeling that
from
vibe,
the song.
Like, it reminded me of Burna Boy is actually international right now. When you listen to a job like that, you just think of one thing, a legendary status. That's what the man is building for himself right now. This is a piece of art. That is a piece of art.
Let me just hold that thought right there and bring to mind the fact that we are lagging behind when it comes to content, lyrical content, especially in Nigerian music.
Yeah.
Over time, people have come out to say Nigerian songs aren't really songs that you could listen to over, especially this, those generations. And over time, there has been a decadence. Like we have seen a drop, a fall in the standard of lyrics. And the reason why I brought you today to give me your critical, because I know you're somebody who has listened vastly to music. And many people have the opinion like, okay, it's a fair deal, it's an average album, and probably it's something that's going to die off after this rave
song. Let everybody just feel it. It goes viral. I make 1 or 2 shows and I stream some basic stream online. Maybe I get 1 million, 2 million streams. I'm good with that.
And then I come out to do it.
Kingdom Black British artist.
He's Ghanaian. He has a Ghanaian descent, by the way. Yeah.
Stormzy. And he did feature one of the biggest pop star right now. The African story on women, on fashion, on party lifestyle. It's beyond that. He talks about politics. He talked about the problem we have in our society. It's more like a proper project of gathering everything together in one.
But this is the thing right now. People are saying,
and ourselves, we should not just live on the euphoria that everything is well. Things are not right in Africa, beyond Nigeria. Things are not right. The way we are expected to be in a couple of years, we are not getting there right now. So we need to still talk about it.
Do you think, or do you feel like this is a time for artists to collectively toe this trend or toe this path?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, especially Nigerian artists.
I think so. I think what Burna Boy is trying to do is even beyond.
Okay. There is actually like parental
guidance. Parental guidance. It's cool to go. It's basically for adults. Just listen to the song and vibe to it. And for me, he did a wonderful project. Some of those works possibly should be edited before playing.
That's one of the reasons. And I wanted to talk about that. I saw a post where somebody was being sarcastic and he was saying, dear artists, before you send your song to the radio station, please give us a radio edited version of the song, because over time we have gotten lots and lots of songs like this, and why can't we play? No, it's against the law. It's against and he was saying that some artists, some big artists, they still send radio edited versions of their songs before they drop the song. So
they try to deliver as a modern day youth in Africa, but telling us about the past and actually doing some features with some legendary artists. It's more to a lot of projects for the past 3 years. I've not been impressed.
Meanwhile,
could be about and other things. We have other issues we have in as a black person that you can actually sell to the mountain when it comes to bringing out projects and synergy.
Okay,
you have a typical example. You have Justin Bieber.
Something you just made a reference to something very critical right now. Do you think the Nigerian music industry is being monopolized by a particular ethnic group?
Nope.
But obviously, we've heard things over time.
No, I think except they are not being truthful to themselves, and artists these days are just looking for trend. We have a lot of deep African rooted sounds. Like if you come to the southern part of Nigeria, that is south part of Nigeria, we have a lot of music. We have the music by the Chekiri people. We have the Owigri,
by the
Ijos. We have the high life that was actually made popular by Cardinal Rex Lawson in the days of Oliver the Cook and all, Osita Osadebe,
Oriental
Brothers. We have Rich.
Having the new breed of Fireboy, DML. We're having Rema. We're having Joe Boy. What are you trying to, or what?
Redefining whiskey style. I think someone that would actually take the industry by storm is someone that will come up with his own style. Like,
so you're trying to say now, as an artist,
you've not seen that artist.
If I want to do a very good song, and right now it's Wizkid's sound that is trending, and it's Wizkid's style,
Naira Marley,
no skin peel. I've heard a couple of singers like Crayon.
Yeah.
Most of the times I hear him and I'm like, is this not very hard right now? We are having this very stereotype mentality and approach.
No, I don't think so. If you create that sound, so why can't the new artist sing high life in a different way?
And exploring new genres. Like, we barely know any EDM artist.
Exactly. It's not that popular. So for me,
that's the reason. So if I'm good and I'm doing that, I'm trying to create that niche, trying to bring in this fusion into the mainstream market for myself, and it's not something that is generally accepted, what will I do?
You have to infuse. That's when infusion come into play. Like, your base is house music. You can infuse a little bit of high life to it.
Possibly,
high life. We know high life is more jazzy. You bring in some jazzy influence into your sound. Definitely, you can create something new, brand new that people have not listened before. So it's about being creative and seeing music from a whole different angle. If you want to stand out from the rest, you have to be unique. But that doesn't mean you just throw away what you've actually listened in the past. It's about you bringing them in, have a good reach. For you to be a good artist, first of all, you have to have a rich library, a rich music library.
Read a lot.
Yes. Read a lot. And
go through documentaries.
A lot. So you have a lot of
proper
experience.
Investigation.
Yes. You have to have a lot of experience when it comes to writing of songs and all. So for you to do this, you have to be vast in knowledge.
I just recently learned that Eminem was a medical doctor. Nobody knew that pre-order was going to be a thing right now for us.
Exactly. So for me, it's about looking at what you're seeing in the present and trying to infuse the new style into the music industry. Definitely, you create something new for yourself. For me, right now, the only artist I think, if he continues the way he's going and possibly make it better, fine-tune it a little bit, he can actually stand out. But I don't know.
Is it Omale?
Not Omale. I think it should be Fireboy DML. It sounds different, but I think he can make it a little bit better.
I'm still skeptical about him right now. I'm very skeptical about him.
He still has that little bit of
the commercial
Adeku good vibe in him. But let's start from there. I think the whole problem we have is about artists not being creative enough, not listening to your competitors to create a work. Imagine I want to.
And one of the reason is not being able to connect properly with issues around. I know they have a lot of things going on with them. The record label is telling them, do it this way, or have it this way, or talk about it this way. But I feel like they're not related.
You can convince your record company. If you have a good structure, a good written song, you can actually tell them, this is what I want to sell. A, I want to sell. B, I want to sell. Let us go out there. Let's paint this picture. The record company, no fool will want to not invest in a good project. It's not possible. You want to invest in a project that you know that is sellable. And what do I mean by sellability? The ability for you to write a good song, create good melodies in general, try to follow a little bit of the trend, not just hijacking the trend and just do exactly what you say. It's about making it better. And making it better is about sounding different.
Quickly, I would like to ask you this question. If you can see the future, if you can see into the future, because I know you're somebody that has a very huge, vast experience in terms of music and the music industry and generally entertainment industry. What would you project in the next 2-3 years, or what would you feel that is being done? What do you think can be done? Like 2, 3, 4 years, can we project ourselves to this level, or how would it sound? How would it be if we go over these paradigms that these people have, and 3-4 years from now?
It's about selling African rich culture. That's the only way we can sell. And I'm actually feeling this these days because I've been listening to a whole lot of Nigerian artists. Basically, let me start with Nigeria first. They've infusing a whole lot of jazz elements into their songs, and that is quite good. Going forward, I think improving on this is going to help the industry a lot. Try to add those elements that is actually unique to you, add them, and then push them out there. Why Fela was like the aim thing was his ability to infuse African sound and that of jazz, and he created Afrobeat. So there's a possibility of them creating that kind of vibe. Yeah.
All right, guys, we have to step out of the studio right now, but it's been a very great time doing the show with you. Pre-PC, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Please, before you go, your social media handle.
You can follow me on all social media platforms. It's at Pre-PC.
And you're very aggressive on Twitter.
No, I'm a creep.
All right, guys, my name is Dave Roberts. The show was Entertainment Recap. That show where you get to hear all the latest juicy gossip and gist in the world of entertainment. Do also follow me on socials. It's Dave Melford Roberts, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Have a very wonderful evening. Area Talk comes up next.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
What is happening in your community? Does your community feel government presence? Do you think your community's voice isn't heard by anyone that matters?
Join us on Area Talk, the platform that zones in on happenings in, out, and around your local communities. We focus on the problem and take eyewitness accounts to help us get a better picture on any issue. Every Tuesdays to Thursdays by 7 p.m. on Today's Connect, only on Today 95.1 FM.
5.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
It's fake. All fake. All fake.
Not like dramatic.
Yeah, you can't just do this. You can't just deceive people like that. Are you acting right now? This is acting, and it's not nice.
Was he talking to
yes,
me?
you. I have to be very.
Before you came on air, before you actually pressed the thing, it was like chaos, and then it just came, and then everything just
That's the essence of being an on-air personality. Like, you don't have to bring other issues on air.
Yeah,
I
we know,
get.
we
We're
get
not saying
it.
you should bring issues, but it was like the way you started the show was like, this is the place you have to. And then
And everybody were having this impression like, oh, this guys, welcome to the show.
I didn't ask you. Oh, God. You don't know something, did it? You're welcome. Please pardon my co-hosts, but pardon each and every one of us, though. We sincerely apologize. It's something what they had to share with you. But it's good to be here. It's time for Area Talk. Call in and share those eyewitness reports that you need to share with us. The markets have been opened, and I was out today, and basically all I could hear on the street was,
what were you hearing?
like, everybody were, I don't know, but I was somewhere around Choba, and all the women were super excited about, even if no one spoke with me, but they seemed super excited because the taxi I took, basically everybody in the taxi were talking about, oh, market don't open, no, I had to go buy this one, I had to go buy that one. I was like, wow, these people are so excited. Like, you could see the excitement, you could hear the excitement in their voices because I wasn't looking at their faces.
markets weren't open before. Officially,
yeah.
Officially,
Those major
no.
markets, you couldn't go there to buy tomato. You have to just look for somewhere else, probably somewhere around the house and all that. But now everybody can just open their in a part of the year would be cut out of their payment. You get?
I don't even think so, because they would give you the impression that, and then you wouldn't expect it to come back to. You wouldn't expect normalcy to come back, because these things have already gone, and everything in Nigeria as it's gone there.
I'm not even talking about the.
No, I'm coming.
Okay.
And now that would affect, in turn,
the shop owners.
Yes, so they would need to make more money. So I feel like it's going to be the new norm.
I actually feel like they're going to take their money in full, because most people, even during this coronavirus period, I knew of someone who, got herself a place. And then, because the person wasn't around during the coronavirus season and all that, the house rent she hasn't packed the house. You get, our stores were just like, maybe she probably just got a bed or something and put it in the house, but the rent was counting.
Yes, obviously.
So it's the same thing with the shops. They will tell you your stores are inside the shop. It's not like the shop was empty, or it wasn't like, okay, I had to give the shop out and all that. You've paid for it, and then your stuffs are inside. Of course, we know that coronavirus was outside. You affected everybody.
Would love to get your thoughts, but hopefully by tomorrow we should be able to get across to some market leaders in different strategic markets here in River State, places like Rumokoro. The leaders in these places, if shop owners are to pay. But if you're a shop owner in one of these markets, and maybe you guys already had a discussion, or you probably have spoken with whoever owns the shop you're occupying, please do all to call in and share with us what their thoughts are, because definitely we're talking about this because when you have to make up, when you have to pay for the shop rents for that period where you didn't make any sale, there was not there. So in turn, we are the ones getting exactly. We're bearing the burnt and the burden. So would love to hear from you. Probably you guys already had that discussion, and oh Jesus Christ, you start hearing tomato like, oh, there's one time tomato like 2 or 3 seed of tomato was for 100 naira. Probably we might start seeing things like that. But nah, just joking. I'm sure that won't happen. But don't forget that the River State governor had in a state broadcast announced Uchendu Ejowo. He monitored activities on the resumption of market reports that instead of fully engaging in business activities, businessmen and women were seen cleaning in and around the market. While some traders who spoke off record to Hacker said they're already
making plans.
Not even plans, they're already out there fumigating public places like markets and the rest of it. And I'm wondering why these guys are still complaining of the fumigating their markets. But if it's for the cleanup, I really don't know what to say about that.
Why would they be expecting the government to come in? It's your shop. The government doesn't use your shop.
I feel like maybe they feel like if they're going to fumigate that place, they were supposed to have cleaned it up so that the fumigation will actually work. So I think it works together.
Fumigation
you clean the place,
yes,
and then you fumigate. preventing people against coronavirus. You're cleaning surfaces and all those kind of things. So I guess that place is supposed to be clean.
Basic steps. You do not necessarily need to fumigate before you sweep or you pick up a resident or a dirt residue that's been there for a very long time. Do you understand? You don't need in quotes that fumigation process before you do the basic steps. You could clean the drainages. You could take out trash there.
What they're saying is that now that they are back to the market, they are going through the pain of cleaning and all these kind of things, and they expected that the federal government would do the cleanup.
I don't know about the
cleanup.
Yeah, personally, it's just a personal view now. I don't know about the government coming to clean your place of business.
Well, I just feel like the two goes together. You want to fumigate a place, you want to prevent people against coronavirus and all that. That place is supposed to be clean.
Apparently, it has been done in quote.
We are not sure if it was done
because
to
that's the mindset of most people. Apparently, it's been done in quote. But the basic steps, the ones you don't need any company to come in and say we are fumigating or apply chemicals. We could just do our little quotas and just contribute and make it very easy for everybody.
All right, let's take a listen to what some of the traders had to say though.
Because that might do on that power side, sometimes they keep sleep there. Then they will see sleep one cross road. Then they come out, they give you house. No, when the person don't do it for you, now you know how you want your house to be. You do it by yourself. Even if they don't contribute, if you come, make them do your shop for you. Like my woman, they sell medicine and she should already decide that she won't go to the place where paint them again. Just want to go buy them. She don't need to wait. She's not already buy 2 buckets of paint.
All right, they've been saying a whole lot on this very short stuff. But, well, we are back, and that's what the traders had to say regards how they feel. But some persons feel you should have cleaned up the place and fumigated the place. Some others are like, fumigating is more important. It's your business place. You should go clean it up. Well, that's how some persons feel, yeah? Meanwhile, the River State House of Assembly has expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness of the state government for the conduct of examinations for exit classes in the state. The House Committee Chairman on Education, Christian Ahiakwo, said this while speaking with correspondent Victor Isiama as the West African Examination Council commenced across the country. And Ahiakwo said that the Assembly's oversight on the Ministry of Education indicates that adequate preparations have been made for school pupils to have hitch-free exams. And Christian also, who is the member representing Oba Ebema Ndoni Constituency 1 in the River State House of Assembly, therefore appeal to parents and guardians to play their part by ensuring their children comply with government procedures. Take a listen to Ahiakwo.
As a government, we have put in place some certain things to ameliorate the possibility of contracting or transmitting the virus from student to the other. Some of the schools, if you visit, you can see that they are properly spaced, and a student is to one table, which is also one of the measures to see that there is physical distance. Also, there is water and also hand sanitizer. However, that is what government is doing. Parents too also have their role to play. Parents have their role to play. As a parent, you should be able to educate your children the norm now. Over this period between March and July that your children were home, what have you been able to tell them? Have you been able to teach them the simple culture of washing hands? But these days, families leave their responsibility to government. Families leave their responsibility to churches. I'm sure that the students are prepared. They should do their best, and I wish them best of luck.
All right, so that's it. But I guess with all of this, some persons are complaining that even as much as the River State government is showing such a level of preparedness that for school resumption, how prepared are the schools themselves? The structure in the schools. Look, schools in so many local governments in different communities, how prepared are they? As much as we can see the River State government doing all they can and all they will so as to meet up with all the COVID-19 requirements, and these children can have a hitch-free exam period. But how prepared are the schools? Yesterday we're talking about, what is it?
Go ahead.
Yesterday we're talking about exam malpractice, and well, I don't know if I should say fortunately or unfortunately, we didn't get to hear most persons talking about if my child says anything like malpractice happened in their school, we will gladly report to the state government. And I'm just wondering what kind of message that would be passing across to others. But we're still asking the same question today. You can still call in and share what exactly you would do if the school decides to assist your child. But most importantly, how prepared are these schools? Is it just meeting up to these regulations or requirements, or should the River State government go beyond all of this? Because, well, some persons feel that more needs to be done. It's not just at the top, at the surface. You need to go inside, interior. How will the children wash their hands? Where is the water? How do they stick?
How consistent will the routine be? Not just doing it for one time and then neglecting the act on different occasions.
Yeah.
It has to be consistent.
Yeah, the other day I told you I was coming from somewhere, and then I saw the students going, and not just that day, I've been seeing them and I don't see their face mask. So if they don't have face mask on, how are we sure that they have enough water to, wash their hands when they get to school? How are we sure they have soaps or something to wash their hands, or even sanitizers to clean their hands? I don't. They should make things available.
Prior to this time, I'm sorry to say, or sound, prior to this time, it has been a very big issue as regards hygiene in most schools. I've been to, some environments where it stemmed as an academic environment, and I literally the issue of COVID-19 at hand, and you're looking at these kids
outside them getting oriented with a basic hygiene. Is it just us teaching theories without practicals? Because we get to hear a lot of talks, and it's just theory, just talking about it. How about the action? That's
what I'm trying to say.
They teach them hygiene and all that, and it went to the environment and it saw the whole place dirty.
The basic steps itself were to stem out from the fact that these kids needed to have known the rules of hygiene itself, how to have a proper hygiene. But right now it's going to be difficult because prior to this time they didn't. And right now it's compulsory. So it's like trying to force a horse to drink water. Normally it's not part of their lifestyle, and now you want to even make it compulsory for them. So it's going to be very hard. So I think some really, really, really strict, really rigid, strict measures should be taken. If it's going to mean disciplining and trying to instill these values of proper hygiene, not just because of COVID-19, but basically to infuse and let these kids know and learn and grow with this nature of proper and personal hygiene. It's going to really, really help them in future.
Yeah, it's going to really help them. And I look forward to seeing that, okay, they would have probably security people who would be there, stand by the washing, whatever.
Yeah, that sounds
that
really
would be there.
Like with a gun.
Because
now wash your hands while I shoot.
No, not like those ones with gun, yeah. Maybe like all these people that they used to have in schools and all, or probably teachers that will man those points where these children will wash their hands and all. So when they come inside the school, they will wash their hands. They will make sure that they wash their hands, because we know how some people can be. They come into school and they still see the tank and everything.
I guess that's part of the requirement, yeah. And that's why at one point in time, federal governments, the COVID-19 task force, they were saying something of they'll need more hands in the schools, not just the regular number of teachers. More hands that would monitor the children, make sure they stay away from each other. That's keeping distance from each other.
Possible? Like I tend to believe
When they are even
it's
going
really,
home,
really going to be hard.
Are they going to be there when they are going home? When they are
No,
brushing
but
together, clustering together?
we've seen so many. We watch television.
I wanted you to spew out those things.
Oh Lord!
It's going to be really difficult.
On newspapers that in these schools, these children maintain social distance, and they are all with their mask. I've even seen cases where children that came down with COVID-19 were taken to write their exams. Some even wrote their exams in their isolation center.
I saw a picture.
So you can see so many things.
Speaking of pictures, I saw this one. I don't know how possible it would be for us, but if we could follow that paradigm, it's going to really, really go a long way. I think they created a very mini house, like that's the word, a tent kind of thing, and then these kids are in there, so it's attached to the seats. So you're sitting and you're in that tent doing what you want to do. Now it's crazy, but it's possible. If we really want to mitigate this issue, the federal government can spend money on anything. Trust me, it's possible. It's crazy, but it's possible. All we need to do is follow the paradigms of people who have already done it before this time, and then have proper ways, to monitor these kids. If they are going to go outside, make sure that they don't have themselves clustered up for any reason. Children, normally, it's a propensity, it's a natural inclination for them to be clustered. You understand? But if they can have themselves playing in 2s or 3s, which have been properly, sanitized or gone through all the precautionary measures, it's going to help also. But trying to confine them in a space, normally children are stubborn. So telling them don't do this, it's going to be really, really, really hard for them not to adhere to your instructions. So if we can have those things in place and then take our time to develop a structure for them. If you're going out to have their break time, just 5 people are outside there, and you're playing, and you're coming back, and you're washing your hands before you get in.
It all boils down to having people monitor them.
As beautiful as that sounds, and as wonderful as that sounds,
it's possible.
Nothing is impossible, actually.
We're not done fixing the roofs of some schools. We're not done giving the children seats to sit on.
But this is the problem we are tackling. So let's use this paradigm now to tackle the problems. If it's what is going to mitigate the spread, we can do it.
COVID-19. Give them seats. Everybody sit alone.
Issue now at hand is curbing the spread, not educational infrastructure.
Yeah, I know.
It's relative though.
Yeah.
Both has to be in place.
No, understand what I'm trying to say. If we want to tackle that thing,
I'm looking at the fact where you said they can build something like a mini hut where children will just sit.
And I'm
wondering
my words
who wants
against
to
me.
who would be able to afford creating all that?
That's what I said.
When you
if
cannot
they
just
want to
provide seats for these children.
If they want
the
to.
children need seats first. Give them seats. Let them sit down. They would do social distancing.
If they want
would
to.
observe it.
If they want to.
Who says they don't want to? Who says they don't want
Over
to?
time, have they?
I believe, or I would want to believe that both federal, state, and local government has the best interest of their people
Are you trying
at
to
heart.
say or imply that reports haven't been getting to them or haven't gotten to them as regards dilapidated structures?
To believe that probably they've heard most of these reports and maybe something is in the pipeline.
Oh,
and it's just that we don't get to hear.
Kerosene. Pipeline.
Something is actually cooking, and probably we
let
don't get
it done.
to
We
hear.
are waiting for it to done.
We hope it's not stone. It won't take
even in
ages.
stone, you can even put your. I saw something you could drop spoon inside or anything, and it will boil and become soft. But that's not the case right now.
And that will take time, though.
If we want to do the right thing, we should do the right thing. I mean, these kids are out there.
Just like the markets being opened, just like telling these kids not to go to school so they don't contact coronavirus by mixing up with each other. Just like opening schools so children can go and write exam. This is government telling you that they have the best interest of these children at heart.
If we fail at this stage, look at these ones. They're teenagers. And
are we failing?
No. Let me get my words correctly, if we fail at this stage.
But does it look like we are failing already?
Obviously, it's just barely how many days ever since
we're
they
looking
opened
forward.
up.
We're still counting.
If that's the caveat, if we fail at this stage, how much more the ones that will come if they decide to fully reopen? I mean, the kindergartens, the primary schools, and the ones who would never listen. You know, these ones to some extent, they might want to listen to you to some extent with pressure and everything, but these other ones would playfully not understand what you're trying to say.
So while we're here talking about children trying to maintain social distancing, the Akwa Ibom state government is urging church leaders to ensure strict compliance with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, that's NCDC, World Health Organization, WHO, and the state government safety guidelines, stating that the spread of the ravaging COVID-19 is on the increase with high casualties of death. So the State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Frank Achibong, he's the leader of the Akwa Ibom State COVID-19 Church Monitoring for Eket Senatorial District. He gave the charge at the weekend during his team's monitoring exercise to ascertain level of safety compliance by churches in the senatorial district. He frowned at some church leaders for not observing the safety guidelines. He said, I quote, "For us to be on the safe side, we must not compromise our compliance level to COVID-19 protocols during church services and at home." He, however, urged worshippers to ensure they obey the simple guidelines on usage of infrared thermometers, functional water sanitizers, stands, face masks wearing during service, and physical distancing within the church premises. Well, some churches are being queried. I just am wondering how the children would cope. But all in all, I guess there are adults there that are there to monitor the kids and to ensure that they comply with all the safety rules. The numbers are 0817 0000951 or 0810951091. You can send a text message or WhatsApp message to the number 0701-933-996. So what's happening in your area? What is going on? Have you been asked to pay school fee for two terms? Would love to hear from you. If it's just one term, I guess some persons would say, well, federal government already said private schools are not charity organizations.
Meanwhile, let me just drop something as regards to that issue. Somebody told me, he said, I think it might be an option or a solution to these things if there are wrong and sue those particular proprietors or owners of those institutions if they want to extort money, because it's against because we had somebody calling us up to tell us that this is this and that is that,
and then he said,
and at the end of the day
wrong.
He said he met the kids and the kids refuted that particular statement. And I feel like if those people are trying to extort, it should be reported to proper authorities right now.
All right, 95.1 FM. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, Buchi. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Abrama.
Yes. Buchi, I want you to help me to tell the chairman of Wemo local government. Let him help us to come and fulfill his promise. Because he promised that he was and build this hall for us. At least, let us see that the chairman have done a little something to us. Because we vote for them to put them there to do something for us, but they refuse to do anything. So I am begging him.
All right.
Who have offended, let him forgive.
All right, to Abrama. Thank you so much. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening, Buchi.
Good evening to you and welcome.
Good evening to you.
Yes, my name is George. George, calling from Romewo community.
All right, George.
The reopening of markets in Rivers State, I think, is a step at the right direction. And I want to also let people that COVID-19 is real. The governor has said it that we should try to make sure that we maintain social distancing in our marketplaces. I think it's a welcome development. Buchi, the area talk I want to tell you is about Romewo Primary School. And one of our brothers saw it as a challenge to us. The man has to make sure that he wants to build 6 classrooms. You know, there is a process. the community owns the land and the school will be handed over to River State government, which we are giving them. We are giving the person kudos for him to make sure that he built this the city school in Romeo community. Also, one of our brothers also saw it as a challenge to us. Also, want to build a computer center in Romeo community. I want to tell the NDD that Romeo Solar Light. I know some of our brothers will be involved for them to maintain that route. It's not everything that the community has to do. Like as I normally tell you, that the road park that is in my community, we are the ones that send them for training. We are the ones that is paying for their welfare. Even the electricity that even the chairman of the local government is alleging that he brought to Romeo community. I can only speak for my community and other in plan with Rumuji Udogogo. We are paying for it. Even Rumudogo, it was the help of Sergeant Anute, which is a CDP system that made sure that Rumudo community have to have electricity. So sometimes I really wonder why if some are lazy is trying to misinform the public.
What exactly do you think he's misinforming the public with? Because I can't recall him. I don't recall him saying anything about any borehole project.
Yes, it's misinforming the entire public.
How?
He's taking the credit. He's taking the credit that the roster that is in order in plan today. I am telling you, even the Diana they are using, you can call Kayode. Kayode is going to tell you the Diana was donated by a transport company. Understand me?
No. Because we went to speak with the Rospark guys the other time, and they also affirmed that the local government chairman gave them a car.
Which of the car he gave to them?
The Sienna that you talked about.
No, see, Rundede and Odegin advisory committee. Initially, understand me? The car, the two-Diana bus, one is get it right. The two-Diana bus was nothing to you now. And in my community, I am paying for it.
But the local government chairman gave them a car. Whether it's one or two, he gave them a Sienna bus, yeah?
My sister.
Because they also...
from Odegin Islam, which is Mr. Kayode. Mr. Kayode is going to be sincere. People have to be sincere.
Is it different from the one in charge? Thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing from Mr. Kayode, like you pointed out.
You still get information from
Mr. Kayode first. But as it stands now, based on what we got from the Rospark at Rumuji, they confirmed that the local government chairman gave them a Sienna bus, and the local government chairman also said that, and he said he gave them some other small stuff like that. But I don't know why you're saying he's misinforming people, because most of the claims he has made, he claimed of giving them Sienna bus, and he talked about electricity, and he also talked about security. Other than that, I don't know what else he said that you are feeling is misinforming. 95.1 FM, good evening. Okay, sorry we lost your call. Please do all to call back. Meanwhile, while the River State government is opening markets here in River State, the Akwa Ibom State government has also reopened livestock markets, which were shut down across the state on May 11 for commercial activities. So, Emmanuel Ekuwem, the secretary to the state government, made the announcement in a statement in Uyuaza Tuesday. He said the reopening took effect from 6 a.m. on Thursday. At 5.1 FM, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Buchi.
Good evening to you and welcome. Go ahead, please.
My own issue is concerning my community.
Which is your community, please?
Ozora in the Ikwe local government.
Ikwe. Okay, go ahead.
Ozora, yes, Ozora is in the Ikwe local government.
Okay.
For 4 years now, Ozora we don't have light. I'm telling the gospel truth. I don't know what our community did to Ikwe local government chairman and the other government officials that they abandoned us for 4 years now.
Interesting.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
What you say is the name of your community again?
Ozoha.
Ozoha.
Yes, Ozuha in the local government.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in, yeah?
All right.
All right. I'm saying that's interesting because I think of all local governments, Ikwe has been the most praised local government, well, at least on the program here in River State.
Isn't the what Nkolo Road on, isn't it still found in that jurisdiction?
No, that's Obiapo, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ikwe is different from Obiapo.
Oh, it's totally different.
Yeah, it is.
It's a different local government.
95.1 FM.
Hello, Buchi.
Hello, good evening to you.
I'm Igwe Sunday from Rumuchi.
Igwe Sunday, welcome. How are you doing today?
That's no problem.
All right, go ahead, please.
I want to just to tell you about how the local government chairman promised them prospect.
Sorry, I didn't get that, please.
I say, the chairman of Emuwa local government promised the prospect people from Odegi that you put them in the road for that the road payment. But he not do according to the way he.
Oh, really? When did he make the promise?
He promised them that he will be paying them salary. Because of the way the security agency, they are taking care of our community very well. If you watch well, this West Road, there's not any problem. You will hear this right from the time. They are the kidnapping people and they are this time around when they have the road practice in the community now, there's no any kidnapping happening in this community again.
Yeah.
West Road, yeah. So he promised them that we will give them little talking to give them to give their family. But now he's not complying according to the way he with them. So that's why I'm just telling you how the way the local government chairman is doing, which is very bad. It's very bad. It's not. I don't like it. So I'm telling you again about our community. In Durumuchi, since after then they have finished our cassava.
Hi, Igwe Sunday, 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome.
L.
Calling from yes, Emma.
All right, Raphael. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to talk about our light.
What part of Emoa?
Umuche.
Okay.
Yes, about a weekly light at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I didn't know, but I was made to understand that some parts in River State or some part of River State it was affected. There was some sort of issue at Obibo. Some guys went to the station there to do something, and well, most places, at least in Obiakpo that I know of, are facing the same challenge. I don't know if Rumuche is part of those places that were affected. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Welcome.
Yeah, somebody just called and said that the chairman promised that he'll be paying us back. Mr. Ike from Rupoku.
Yeah, and I asked when he made the promise.
The question is, from whose pocket? From whose pocket? From the River State government pocket or from the chairman pocket?
Okay.
That question should be asked. Secondly, let me end.
Okay.
Now let's go to the issue of opening of markets. Our governor Ingo open markets. One.
Okay.
Was the market which made that
happened?
I have people at Rumokuru. I have people at my trade. This market we are not fumigate. And some of the
the River State government already said that they started fumigating these places, public places here, and want to believe that some of these markets are part of it as well. But they claim that people are, claiming that no fumigation was carried out. I wonder if you were at the market 247 or you had people monitoring the markets to always confirm to you
or
when
they did it during the night and when nobody was there.
Maybe they did it during the night. I don't know.
Possible.
Or maybe people were just saying all this because they didn't get some reports that they fumigated some particular places.
Okay. Good to have you, Mr. Godpa.
Yes, sir. Butcher Rafa, I think I'm talking.
Yeah.
Food, banana, gare, and this.
So you want to complain of? Someone called in the other day to claim or to allege that people,
so that our goods can go to Port Harcourt and the people that are producing can now sell. Not a different price because.
Do you have any idea of how much a basin of gari is at Eche? Because you said it's the food baskets. I'm wondering how cheap food stuff are there.
No, man, I don't say. I think it's about 5,000 naira basin.
For one basin?
Yeah.
Oh.
Those days, I don't know now because the people who are coming to buy are complaining of how to send the goods to Port Harcourt. That's the problem.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, sure. I'm sure they're listening. Thank you very much, Elder.
Wow. Gospel.
Good evening to you and welcome.
Good evening, Buchi.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good.
Health center. Buchi, some months ago, a yellow fever vaccine program that was conducted to vaccinate people. So I was one of the ad hoc staff that was recruited for that job. Up to this moment, we have not received our pay. It's more than it's almost 6 months now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Were you contracted? Were you contracted before this time, or have you had similar cases where you did and they were supposed to pay and they delayed and for some reason but it got to you, or it's just this one time?
It's this one time. I think this is just the first time I worked with them.
And so what have you done about it?
We've been going to the health center. We are even telling them we want to protest for them to enable them pay us. But they were referring us to the council that we should go to the Obiapo council. Sorry?
Were you contracted directly by the council?
No. We are contracted by the health center. And these people, I don't know. I've been going there. Other persons have been going there as well to complain about the other person's deed. But up to this moment, I've not seen a dime from them.
Very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think at this juncture we should start getting our final remarks before we wrap up the program. Dave, go ahead.
This particular one just got to me. It's very hard for people to put in time, money, and effort into making things work, and at the end of the day, withhold what is rightfully theirs. But with that being said, I would need to urge everybody to keep doing the right things. Make sure that you are the one who projects for sanity in the society. You're not the one who is saying one thing and doing another thing. If we want this thing to work, we must collectively put our hands together. The government can do their part, but you on your own part, make sure you do what you're supposed to do. And then on the long run, we hope and pray that things would, normalize. And futuristically, Nigeria will be great once again.
Mm-hmm. All right. Speaking on what the guy just said earlier, that's the last caller. I don't know, but I think you just might need to get a public complaint commission involved.
Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Welcome.
Uchi.
Mm-hmm.
That's Congo, calling from Akuka Village.
Congo, it's good to hear from you today. How are you doing?
Okay, my sister. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. I was coming back from Port Harcourt today. I saw either a payloader or whatever, and tippers sleeping signs after Sokoto Bridge. And let me tell you, Buchi, I did something for somebody. Let it be delicious and not facetious. The way the governor asked him to do it.
At Chokocho?
Yes.
So they are working on that.
They are asked to do that route. And if it is done that way, that they are doing it today.
All right, Congo. All right, thank you so much, Congo. Quickly to the text message portal. This one says, good evening, presenters. I want to use this platform to plead with God. Save. I don't know if this why. Okay, to save Wabaroma from crying in the air, we've always from David Gotspa and Umpolu Rumibo. All right, this one says, good evening, Buchi Singto from Port Harcourt. Please.
Your hands. Make sure that you don't just use your hand to just pick things like you used to do before while leaving the home. So they should know that they are supposed to use these things, and then it will be left for them to get to school.
Evening, and stay tuned. Opinion poll is coming up shortly. It's been Area Talk. Buluwatife, thank you.
People.
Eye Prep in action on Today FM.
This program is designed to educate the people and give detailed progress reports on the Ogoni Cleanup project.
The show will also feature high-profile interviews and discussions with relevant stakeholders on the cleanup exercise. We shall be presented with weekly updates and discussions on burning issues on the cleanup exercise.
Tune in every High Prep, remediating the environment and restoring livelihoods.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
You can never plan the future but the past. Wisdom to listen. I don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education.
You asked us to vote you into that position so you can bring about that
solution.
So when you vote me, then you sleep.
Let me see if I can take another phone call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
What makes a policeman to be able to feed is the gun he's holding. They use their gun to extort money from people.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
No longer news that we are truly the voice of the people.
Am I not a slave in Nigeria?
I refuse if you are.
You're a slave. Let's not get to that now. So the Nigerian constitution.
In advance. Hi, this is Ifnaya Obeme Indukwe from the news department.
Voice of the people. Radio has never been this good.
What is it? What is it? How come Chukudi, that guy Chukudi, how come he's making more sales than?
What is that thing you are doing? I'm your brother. What is that thing you're doing? Look at your shop now.
Exchange.
Chukudi, stop this joke now.
I tell you, because now, as we talk so, their rates don't drop.
Chukudi, are you being serious?
I did tell you.
Where this man goes, Seth? Look at Chukudi. Want buy something new? Look at Chukudi.
They collect money. Chief can face you come now. I come. Emeka,
okay. Well, if this woman enter this car, I go drop. Oh, you enter, I go pay for you.
Officer, take. Officer, give me number. No time. Ma, they match am.
You under arrest. Drive safe, okay?
I don't understand though. No be the same country again. Officer reject bribe. They arrest me yesterday. That yesterday, I go do my papers. See as I pass now. I pass without fear. You too, make you do wetin dey right. For we country to better, it dey for we hand. If you like, do like say you no hear am. To give or to take bribe, na offense.
Una don hear am, abi? You hear am too, abi? You hear am.
Every day on Today 95.1 FM. Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation on Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1 FM or join us on the number 0701 933. Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
Peace is a situation where there is no war or violence in a society. Peace allows wealth to accumulate and the society to advance.
Through peace, generations of wealth happy.
Without peace, there will be violence, war, and underdevelopment in our society. The most disadvantageous peace is far better than the most just war. Let us embrace peace for a better society.
This message is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM.
It's what I pray for all around the world. It's what I pray for my
I'm T-Range calling from Imo State.
My name is White calling from Bayelsa.
Hello, yes, this is Udra calling from Akwa Ibom.
My name is John
calling from Abia.
Amaka calling from Abia.
This is Toya calling from Bayelsa. I'm Divine calling from Port Harcourt.
With over 8 million listeners glued to this dial, why not take advantage
and showcase your product
and services to the world with rates that wouldn't break your bank?
Visit us at number 1 Today FM Drive off East West Road, Rumekini, Port Harcourt.
937.
We are your number 1 talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
It's a beautiful day to be alive. It is the 18th day of the month of August 2020. I trust you are doing splendid and your day is coming well. My name is Buchira Fwa. You're on to Today95.1 FM, the voice of the people, your number 1 talk news premium sports radio station. And the program is Opinion Poll. Sample the topic and you get to share your opinion, your thoughts, your views on the topic of discussion tonight. My name is Buchira Fwa and it's a pleasure to be here. Like I said, I trust your day went well. I trust you're doing beautiful today. Now, a whole lot has been happening in the country, and of course, we talk about these issues here on Opinion Poll. But, our topic of discussion today is pretty interesting. Muhammad Buhari has been unanimously described as Nigeria's most revolutionary piece of business legislation in decades and a badly needed respite for the private sector and small-scale business. And, this is brought by Davidson Iriekben, according to this day. So the Nigerian business climate has for the past 30 years operated under the authority of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 1990. The act effectively administers the Nigerian business regime, providing guidelines and structures that have kept the business framework running for decades. However, due to the dynamic realities of doing businesses and the passing of time, the CAMA 1990 became outdated, leading to the agitations for the act to be repealed or reenacted. Now, President Muhammad Buhari last year finally heeded to the agitations with a letter to the Senate seeking an amendment to early this year. It was not a disappointment. And since it was signed, it was signed into law penultimate week by the president. He has been receiving commendations, with many saying it provides significant benefits to companies by reducing red tape and making it easier to small-scale businesses. The amendments were also aimed at encouraging investment that will allow over 75,000 private companies limited by shares which are established in Nigeria every year will be able to no longer need a lawyer to register a company. The key changes right to form a company. Section 22, private companies. Okay, well, I'm not giving full details for the sake of time. But also Section 26, company limited by guarantee. Section 27, requirements with respect to the memorandum of a company. That's share capital. For Section 40, statement of compliance. For Section 98, common seal. For Section 223, registration of charges. For Section 240, general meeting. Sector 3, and Section 402, exemption for audit requirements. Section 746 to 810, introduction to limited partnership. And those are like the highlights he felt made this particular law unique compared to others. And according to Davidson, that is bringing to the fore some of the key changes and innovations which made this legislation particularly unique. That's what he thinks. But not everybody shares the same opinion as David. According to an article by Kayode Adeniji, was reported by The Cable, and he said, when it was announced that the presidency had passed KAMA into law, a particular PDF document was being shared on social media about how this law would aid the ease of doing business in Nigeria. But to my greatest surprise, after reading through the law, it is clear that religious bodies and charity organizations that have been giving succor to the oppressed people of Nigeria, who are denied basic amenities by the huge corruption in public service, will now be strictly regulated by the whims and caprices of the Registrar General of Corporate Affairs Commission and Supervising Minister. Number one, by virtue of Section 839 of KAMA 2020, it provides that the Commission may, by order, suspend the trustees of an association and appoint an interim manager or managers and appoint or managers to manage the affairs of an association where it reasonably believes that there has been any misconduct or mismanagement of the association, or where the affairs of the association are being run fraudulently, or where it is necessary or desirable for the purpose of public interest. And he said, see Section 839. That's one. And then he went to subsection 2 of the Section 839, provides for another procedure for the suspension of trustees. The trustees can also be suspended by an order of court upon a petition by the commission or 1/5 of the members of the association. However, the petitioners must present reasonable evidence or such as requested by the court. A comparative perusal of subsection 1 and 2 suggests that while the court requires evidence following a petition to suspend trustees, the commission simply needs to believe, to desire for some other interest disguised as public interest to suspend trustees. It also suggests that the powers of the commission override that of our courts. The belief and desires of the Registrar General and the Minister becomes superior to the judicial powers of the courts under subsection. He went on to say, therefore, the conclusion is that petitioners do not need the court to suspend trustees. All they need to do is appeal to the belief and desires of the Registrar General or the Supervising Minister. He also talked about Section 8231, which recognizes the appointment of trustees by a community of persons bound by custom, religion, kinship, or nationality. How then, he said, could the commission appoint a manager who may not have anything in common with the community to manage the affairs of the association? He asked. He also went into Section 839(7), provides that after an inquiry into the affairs of the association, if the commission is satisfied as to the matters in subsection 1, where you have the ambiguous and dictatorial clauses like reasonably believes, deem it necessary or desirable public interest, it may suspend and remove any trustee. Well, he said a whole lot, and then he went on in conclusion. Professor Chidi Odinkalu had raised a red flag on similar provisions 2 years ago. It is now clear that this is a tactical maneuver to entrench the NGO Regulation Bill through the back door. These provisions are pushing the nation into a dangerous terrain in a country with palpable religious tension regarding the licensing of religious organizations. This is a country where the tax collected are not accounted for, and inquiries via the Freedom of Information Bill are usually frustrated. According to him, there are various empirical evidence to show that lives have been touched by NGOs, but there is no evidence of the utilization of collected revenues in the lives of average Nigerians. That's his thoughts. But I would want to, like I shared earlier, everybody with their thoughts. The initial article I read out to you was his thoughts, which is for this particular KAMA 2020 law, and it's pointing out all those things that he feels makes the law unique and special, so to say. But he's countering it. And he also said the freedom of association is guaranteed by the Constitution, is scared and should not be tampered with in a nation like Nigeria. NGOs and religious organizations are major sources of hope for an oppressed people, he said. He said the UK Charity Commission represents a responsible government that has demonstrated integrity in the implementation of its budget and provision of basic amenities to its people. The idea of copying the jurisprudence behind the regulation of NGOs from other climes and pasting same on the KAMA 2020 is counterproductive, and our legislators need to rise above copying and be creative and bespoke in the formulation of policies. We need to focus on the utilization of revenue collected by government to better the lives of the people. Well, Adeniji is actually a senior partner at Loracle's legal practitioners, and Kayode Adeniji was the one responsible for this particular article that was shared by the Cable. But the one I shared with you earlier was by Davidson Iregben, who brought, of course, to the fore some of the key changes and innovations which makes this particular legislation super unique and maybe beautiful for some persons. But this is not all. Lots of reactions has been trailing this particular issue. Now, when Oyedepo recently spoke out. He's the presiding bishop of Living Faith Church worldwide. David Oyedepo has kicked against the application of the Company and Allied Matters Act KAMA in churches. And like I said earlier, the president has signed the KAMA into law on August 7, 2020. Now, under the law, religious bodies and charity organizations will be strictly regulated by the Registrar General of Corporate Affairs Commission and the supervising minister, trustees of an association or a religious body, and appoint an interim manager or managers to coordinate its affairs where it reasonably believes that there has been any misconduct or mismanagement, or where the affairs of the association are being run fraudulently, or where it is necessary or desirable for the purpose of public interest. And like I said, Oyedepo questioned the rationality behind subjecting churches to the same laws as companies, describing the church as God's heritage on earth. He said, I quote his words, "The church's man is when he tampers with his wife. The church is the body of Christ. We are under obligation to give warnings to wicked rulers so we could be free from their blood," he said, and I quoted. End of quote. Another quote, "The church walks on the pattern delivered by God, not the pattern of man. Government has no power to appoint people over churches. This is a secular nation. The church is the greatest asset of God in this country. Please be warned. Judgment is coming. The Lord says, I have been still, but now I will arise." The Lord says, he said, anybody that is in this deal is taking poison. This will never work. I'm waiting for a day when anybody will appoint a trustee over this church. You can't still run around to become president. I know that it is the prosperity of the church or greater in this church shall emerge on the largest concentration of giants in earth. Well, that's what Oyedepo said. But, of course, the presidential aide, Loretta Onoche, she cautioned General Overseer of the Living Faith Church worldwide, popularly called Winners, that's David Oyedepo, against criticizing the Company and Allied Matters Act KAMA. Now, the federal government through I already explained that one to you. But, however, Pastor Oyedepo had during his sermon rejected the terms of that, like I shared with you earlier. But Loretta Onochie, who is the special assistant to the president on social media, wondered why David Oyedepo is against the new law.
And they brought good religious bodies into it. The same thing they did 2 years ago when I shouted on the devil. The same laws were used that one registrar general can decide to close the account of a church. And then some fellows under any scheming will want to stifle the church. And then one man will remove the trustee of a church. How dare you and put a manager there? When did you become that dictator? When Jesus called me, were you there? I'm asking for those involved in those cases, exercise caution. That should stop now. We are the bride of Christ. Anyone that touches is
there. And well, on the program tonight, we will be talking with the Secretary of CAN here in River State. It's no other person but Archbishop Emmanuel Ogo. Good evening to you. It's good to have you on the program. You're welcome.
Good evening, Buchi.
All right. So good evening, Bishop. Well, I'm sure you already abreast of what our discussion is like. Quickly, for the sake of time, I would just love to get your thoughts on this particular issue, your personal thoughts now, and then we'll get to what River State can, particularly personal thoughts. What do you think of this particular law?
Thank you, Buchi. Actually, you are aware I'm not a lawyer, but this affects the church. Buchi, one, my stand will also be the stand of every member or head of the church, because the church is not a secular organization. The church is a spiritual organization. We have other associations that are secular, social, but the church is spiritual. The owner of the church is Christ himself. And then we are just caretakers of the church. Now, that it is only the owner, the man who hired the laborer, that has right.
Okay, yeah, I get all that. Yeah, I get you're trying to get from the Bible, but for the sake of
to guide the church, it's a spiritual angle.
Yeah, but let me share something with you. Like I clearly stated earlier, yeah, churches in other parts of the world are being regulated. Yeah, there are rules and regulations guarding them. So why should we feel different? What's so wrong if that same regulation of churches is being introduced here in Nigeria? What's so wrong about that?
Okay. Let me just tell you one thing. You are very much aware, as much as they are being regulated. Let's take in the United States. You know that the United States government pay part of tithe to the churches. Are you aware?
Okay.
And then you want to come here and regulate churches, but you have no impact, only to come in. Maybe now let me.
Okay, if that's where you're standing, I would also love to bring up some allegations, or maybe some conspiracy theories of some persons. But I guess lots of them are allegations where people allege that in churches fraudulent activities are being carried out. People allege of some churches. This particular law is not just for churches; NGOs are also involved. But since we're discussing based on what Oyedepo had to say, knowing fully well that like I said, allegations are flying around that some churches are being fraudulent and are like a center for money laundering. Don't you think it's okay for government to interfere at this point in time?
There is a money laundering act now that has to be dealt with individuals. Where we are mostly concerned is that in an organization like a church, which is a spiritual thing, you know that this act permits that the corporate affairs and the minister now oversees the activities or whatever to that particular area. It can work in secular societies, in secular organizations. But in a spiritual organization like the church, some churches, their government is not being done by just humans. Some can be by casting of blood, some can be by after many days of prayer, and the Lord will speak to somebody and say this.
So is that the only challenge, that someone external is coming to interfere? Is that like the only challenge for you personally now? Is that your only challenge? If they decide to bring someone within the church to take over the affairs of that church, do you think you will be contented with that?
If they bring somebody within the church, how? What process did they use?
Someone, probably someone from Cannes, someone holding a particular position in Cannes to control the affairs of a particular church if they feel like there are some activities there that are going on that are fraudulent.
But that is now, you have now come. They would have created position in that law for Cannes, which is the regulatory body and an umbrella organization of the Christian community, to now be involved and moderate the activities of the church, giving Cannes.
Okay, quickly, anything from the national level, that's Cannes, but I don't know if the River State Cannes has a stand in this already.
No, from the national level, when this bill was the bill process, when it was in the House process, the national Cannes had to go and then submit their proposals and so on, or their rejections to certain parts of the bill.
Okay.
They did, and then now they told them that they will give them responses.
Okay.
And then inside it, up till now, National Cannes has not told us whether those responses have been given, of which I feel they have not been given, because if they have, immediately they would have transmitted to us.
If it hasn't been given, why is Cannes still quiet till now?
Oh, good. After prayers, sometimes after marathon meetings.
So does that mean Oyedepo coming out to talk to this is not going through the spiritual process? It's been social?
No. Oyedepo coming out is now talking like an individual. You know, when you are at your interview or hearing from me, you say my personal opinion first, and then that of the Cannes. Now, Oyedepo is talking from his
angle at all. Because he made mention of some spiritual words, which is from the Bible.
No, Oyedepo, that's what I'm telling you. Did you hear him well? Oyedepo quoted that the church is the bride of Christ. The church is of Christ. That if you want to try a man, just touch his wife.
All right, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up with River State Cannes stand.
Now, River State Cannes stand has nothing to come up with except that we hear from the national. Because this memorial, whatever we submitted together. The national will soon come up with something that will give us the strength to talk.
All right. Thank you so much, Bishop Emmanuel Ogu, for being here. We truly appreciate you joining us.
I'm grateful. Have a pleasant night.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And his personal stance, but like he clearly said, the Cannes at the national level has him, but he's not sure if they got any reply or not. Now, let's still stick with the side of the public that's gazetting the bill, where it gives members of the public the notice that a new bill is being considered. And some persons have also complained that issues like this, and knowing fully well that in Nigeria we can be super religious, so this is something that affects our religion, and it's very personal to some Nigerians and also NGOs that like the other article I read out, NGOs have touched the lives of most Nigerians. So people are clamoring that at least maybe Cannes or PFM express their dissatisfaction towards that particular bill, but no feedback so far that he knows. I don't know if I should still be looking at the public hearing, but I guess in general, why is it so wrong to regulate churches in Nigeria? And why do some persons feel that it is not okay? But looking at it on the other hand, like the article I read out, as much as there's been allegations and speculations or conspiracy theories, however you want to put it, I don't know what you think of it, that churches are practicing, there's a lot of fraudulent acts going on in some churches, and some persons are just using that as a platform to launder money, and a whole lot of allegations here. Based on all that, do you think it's fine? It's just normal, it's just logical for these churches? What's the essence of a church? Is to preach to the people, help the people, and be super transparent. If you're being transparent, why would you be scared of being investigated or being looked into? That's the question some persons are asking. But now, would you want to take out somebody that was spiritually anointed by God? God, who are you to say, point fingers at a man of God? 701-933-996. And please, I plead and beg of you, they are giving their opinion, and please mind the words and languages you choose to use tonight on the program. And always, that is 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello, Bujira.
Hello, Mr. Sam. It's good to hear from you tonight.
Yeah, last time. How was your day?
It was all right. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, Buchi. Buchi, you see, one thing I don't understand about this bill is about the trustee. Is it the government that will bring in a trustee to regulate it, or the government will work with the like, let me not talk about the organization, NGOs, but let me talk specifically about the church. Is it the government that will bring a trustee that will take charge of the church, or what? I don't understand.
Well, the CAMA provides that the commission may, by order, suspend the trustees of an association or a religious body and appoint an interim manager or managers to coordinate its affairs. Of course, that's where it's reasonably believed that there has been any misconduct or mismanagement.
You see, that is very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. In the sense that if any defaulting aspect is taken, let them sanction whichever body in whichever way that stipulated law permits for such person to be sanctioned, not to come and interfere or take over the I don't understand.
All right.
It's not like maybe I have a quarrel with my wife, and you now come over and take over my wife, and they won't be taking care of my. Is that what they are talking about? I don't understand. So the thing is that let them not come in that.
But in this case, the church is like a public place. The NGO is public. It's not a private thing. And your wife and your affair, it's somehow private. It's individual. So if it's affecting the public and you know some dubious acts are being carried out there, why do you think it's wrong for governments to interfere?
But that is what I'm saying. Now, when a criminal go out there and steal, you don't go and because the criminal go and steal and go and take over his property and his business and everything. You only do investigation, whatever link to what he stole. Then you now use it as a list of exhibit against him. Then that criminal will go and suffer for the punishment.
All right. All right, Mr. Sam.
So you don't say because the criminal go and steal, now you come and take over his family, take over his property.
All right, Mr. Sam. Thank you so much for your contribution. Good evening to you and welcome.
Yeah, this is Pastor Isaiah George.
Welcome, Pastor Isaiah. It's good to hear from you today.
Yeah, yes, my sister. God bless you.
Thank you.
See, those who are crying more than the bereaved and raising us, I pity for them because they have representatives. I thought that people are representing them, whether you are a religious leader or whoever you are. Somebody is representing you at the National Assembly. Even if you don't vote for that person, the person is representing either you or your people. If you exclude yourself, the person is representing somebody who is your brother or sister, father, or in your clan or constituency.
Okay.
Now, if the lawmakers in their majority adoption has adopted the point of this very motion before them. Then you coming to cry more than the bereaved. Is it not a waste of time?
All right.
Is it not just a waste of time? I don't understand.
So who exactly is the bereaved, if not you that is crying?
No, the so-called men of God who are crying. These are respected men of God who we think that should understand most of these things we are talking about. You have people represent you, and you know that the fraud in the
Nigeria as a whole now, Nigeria as a whole. Of course, let's take, for example, the kind of calls we get on Area Talk where people say they have representatives, they have senators from their place, but those people do not give and put in their interests when it comes to lawmaking that will benefit the community. So what would you say about that? Why should it...
Sister, you see, the lawmakers, it is left for them to
and do you think, let me ask you now, do you think most of, many a times, the laws that are being passed there, do you think many of them are actually in sincere favor of the people?
In as much as there are public hearings of most of these laws they pass, I understand. It's not that everybody will be, all Nigerians will be at that public hearing.
All right. All right, Pastor George, 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Victor. Thank you. My own opinion to this program on Ghana is that the government of Nigeria does not have any right to investigate the church.
Okay.
The reason is the Nigerian government are not the ones that are called men of God. But for me, then the other way around, so many men of God, just like as you say, there's a serious problem activities going on in the churches. So I feel
most of them are just allegations.
Of course, no, but me, I know.
No, I don't know.
Okay, fine. Me, I know personally. Why? Because why did I know? Before I never knew. It was when a pastor came up and started telling the people of the world that this money of a church is not my money. It's the people's, the children of God money. And it's not made for me alone. It's made up for everybody. Now, he started using this money, building free schools, building free hospitals, building free restaurants, a lot of things. That these people, as I'm talking to you, there is over 40-something students are just finished writing an exam that is about to travel to Tokyo for study. That you have paid their flight, their school fees, everything. It's not his money. He's even telling you that.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we need to let you go there. So the text message portal, this one says, Buchi, government of Nigeria managed the Pilgrim Board, appointed God's money. All those involved in the law should prepare for God's judgment. Yes. Most churches should be regulated for not indulging in human capital development. They are trying to fight corruption and illegalities and fraudulent activities in the church. So, from that particular commission that are not Christian, be perceived, that's coming from Pobin O. All right, back to the phone lines. Let's see how many calls we can take before we wrap up. You have a minute, please. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Buchi.
Good evening to you and welcome.
Yeah, my name is Chris Oakley. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Chris, you're welcome. Go ahead, please.
This federal government, at times, federal government can sponsor some crime because...
I don't know. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Yeah, and I'm calling from Akabich.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, that is the greatest statement that will make the churches and make the church look as if it's government parastatal or something like that. It's not good. Whom they're going to appoint, how holy or how righteous is the person that's coming to
and if you're talking about holiness, if that's the bone of contention for you, if fraudulent activity is being carried out in that place, it means something unholy is already going on.
Okay, what of other organizations are they sent there things that are going on in all the parastatals, that assembly and other one, are they checking them? Who is Nigerian that will check met the activity of
and
hello.
Yeah.
I get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm getting what you're saying, but thank you so much. Terry had to let you go. This person says, God bless in that way. They don't think it's a business venture. At 5.1 FM, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
To ensure accountability and transparency. Both the end. Yes. Since Nigerians can pay, you are considered.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts. We have to go now. The world news is up next. My name is Bujira Fad.
We've got you covered on air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Good evening. This is the world news in your premium talk radio today, 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. I am Bachira Fua with the headlines. Markets across River State record slow start after Governor Nyesom Wike lifted ban. Stakeholders question claims of 70% completion of Ogoni cleanup by High Prep. And former President Goodluck Jonathan meets with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. And on foreign protesters in Belarus mark birthday of jailed husband of country's main opposition figure. Now the details. The River State's Governor Nyesom Wike has said projects started by his administration would be completed before the expiration of his tenure. Governor Wike restated his commitment while speaking on a live television program. He said despite inheriting so many uncompleted projects, his driving force has been not to follow in such stead, but be committed to delivering promises made to Rivers people. Reports have emerged of low turnout of businessmen and women, as well as business activities in some markets in parts of Port Harcourt. You would recall that the River State's Governor Nyesom Wike had in a state broadcast announced the reopening of markets except for the slaughter and oil mill markets. Our correspondent Uchendu Ojowo, who monitored activities on the resumption of markets, reported that instead of fully engaging in business activities, businessmen and women were seen cleaning in and around the markets. While some traders who spoke off record to our correspondents insisted that it was the responsibility of the government to clean and fumigate the markets for business activities, another said the government cannot reopen markets and still be given the conditions upon which it would operate.
Because that might do on that power side, sometimes they keep sleep there. They will sleep one crossroad. Then they come out. They give you house. No, when the person don't do it for you, now you know I want your house to be. You do it by yourself. Even if they don't contribute, if you come and told your shop for you. Like when they sell medicine, and she should already decide that she won't go to the place where paint them again. Just want to do buy them. She don't need to wait. She's not already buy 2 buckets of paint.
Meanwhile, the River State House of Assembly has expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness of the state government for the conduct of examinations for exit classes in the state. House Committee Chairman of Education, Christian Ahiakwo, said this while speaking with correspondent Victor Isiama as the West African Senior Secondary School examination commenced across the country. Ahiakwo said the Assembly's oversight on the Ministry of Education indicates that adequate preparations have been made for school students to have hitch-free exams. Christian Ahiakwo, who is the member representing Oba Ebema Andoni Constituency 1 in the River State House of Assembly, therefore appealed to parents and guardians to play their part by ensuring their children comply with government procedures.
As a government, we have put in place some certain things to ameliorate the possibility of contracting or transmitting the virus from student to the other. Some of the schools, if you visit, you can see that they are properly spaced, and a student is to one table, which is also one of the measures to see that there is physical distance. Also, there is water and also hand sanitizer. However, that is what government is doing. Parents too also have their role to play. Parents have their role to play. As a parent, you should be able to educate your children the normal norm now. Over this period between March and July, that your children were home. What have you been able to tell them? Have you been able to teach them the simple culture of washing of hands? But these days, families leave their responsibility to government. Families leave their responsibility to churches. I'm sure that the students are prepared. They should do their best, and I wish them best of luck.
A 70% completion of sites in the cleanup of Ogoni land, as stated by the hydrocarbon pollution remediation process, has been questioned by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Centre, CISLAC. The group, in a meeting held in Port Harcourt, said that HYPREP should provide laboratory evidence of the completion of 70% of the sites currently being remediated. Speaking at the meeting, the executive director of CISLAC, Awa Arab Sangajani, alleged that some allocated sites for the cleanup process have been abandoned by contractors and workers in September 2019 due to lack of funding by the HYPREP.
So their statement is viewed as a deliberate attempt by HYPREP to distract the stakeholders from the focus of the cleanup. To ascertain the substance of the 70% completion, it will be important for the HYPREP to substantiate the claim with adequate responses to the following question, which we want to ask them. For over 3 years of the HYPREP's operation, has there been an independent monitoring of the cleanup process? If yes, by which organization? We want to know. Are there plans for the acclaimed completed site? UNEP has provided some capacity building for the project for the last 1 year. Can HYPREP publish UNEP perception of their success?
Rafsanjani accused HYPREP of denying stakeholders access to data tools used to evaluate the level of progress of the cleanup process and has gone ahead to score itself. He also accused the HYPREP of micromanaging the funds allocated for the cleanup process, as he also called on the River State government to pay attention and show interest in the cleanup exercise.
The monitoring tools, key performance indicators that should be used by the stakeholders to assess the quality of the work done is not yet released to the stakeholders by HYPREP. Conventionally, best practice requires all relevant stakeholders to develop KPI. The reason is to meet different stakeholders' expectations and encourage inclusive decision making. However, HYPREP seem to have independently developed their own KPI without stakeholders' input, and also unwilling to share same for public utilization to monitor the success of the cleanup exercise. I think for me, this is a huge deficit in the process of trying to take every stakeholders on board to arrive at the right tools that will enable us to monitor genuinely how far has this project is going.
When contacted, an official of HYPREP said the agency will continue to follow due process and endeavor to micromanage funds for only the purpose of the Ogoni cleanup exercise. Our correspondent Tifunaya Berman could report that various CSOs interested in the cleanup of Ogoni land were present at the meeting. The berthing of the largest container vessel on any Nigerian port, which called at the Onne Port, River State, has continued to excite stakeholders in the maritime sector. Angus Chukwuka of Admiralty Lawyers, in his reaction to the arrival of the ship, said the berthing of the Maersk Line Stadel Horn vessel has made the eastern port come alive. Chukwuka, who commended the Nigerian Port Authority (NPA) and other federal agencies, advised that adequate checks be carried out on the vessel to ensure that it does not pose any threats to River State and Nigeria.
The arrival of the Maersk Line Stadelholm vessel at the Onne Port in River State, it will enhance the financial or economic capacity of maritime businesses and business people, and will open greater vistas of investment opportunities for critical stakeholders, shippers, and government agencies. Of the blessings of the berthing of this vessel could well be miracle palliative that God may have decided to endow on Nigerians, while lauding the Nigerian Port Authority and other government agencies in the role they have played to ensure the successful arrival of this vessel. We must advise that the government must still not lose its guard in ensuring that proper and adequate checks are carried out in respect of the content and the crews of this vessel.
The Nigerian Port Authority announced that the successful berthing of the biggest container vessel to ever call at any Nigerian port, the Maersk Stadelhorn vessel with length overall of 300, that was received at the Federal Ocean Terminal on Nair in River State last weekend. The federal government has projected a 8 trillion naira as expenditure for the 2021 fiscal year. This is contained in the latest economic outlook by the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. The document signed by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Ahmed Zainab, indicate that the figure represented a 17.2% increase of the revised 10.8 trillion 2020 budget, while the aggregate revenue available for the budget for next year is projected at 7.498 trillion naira. The aggregate expenditure level is projected to be 12.658 trillion naira. Meanwhile, the absence of the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, and officials from the Debt Management Office has stalled the public hearing by the House of Representatives Committee on Treaties and Protocols by 1 week. Speaking during the resumption of the hearing, Chairman of the committee, Nicholas Osai, wondered why the Minister and the officials from the Debt Management Office were not in attendance. Before a motion was moved for the adjournment, Osai argued that the lawmakers cannot interrogate the agencies in their absence. He thereafter asked his colleague to deliberate on the matter, suggesting that they adjourn for 1 week to carry the government officials involved along.
You are aware that I, as a chairman of this committee, will not ambush my colleagues in terms of when documents are submitted to them, because you need to digest most of these documents, go through this document clause by clause. An important office in this country that are part and parcel of the negotiating team, which is the Ministry of Justice, because they need to be part and parcel of this because of the revelation that are coming up now on most of these clauses and these articles we are seeing embedded in the documents. And more importantly, the Minister of Finance, who signed most of these agreements with other countries. So we cannot interrogate the other agency without this body being around. So I'm seeking the indulgence and the permission of my committee members to be able to look at this issue and probably adjourn for 1 week to enable us to digest this matter and invite the honorable ministers that are here and those of them that are not here, so that we'll be able to conclude this matter as soon as possible and make a recommendation to the National Assembly.
You are listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories to stay with us.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today 95.1 FM.
iPrep in action on Today FM.
This program is designed to educate the people and give detailed progress reports on the Ogoni Cleanup project.
The show will also feature high-profile interviews and discussions with relevant stakeholders on the cleanup exercise. We shall be presented with weekly updates and discussions on burning issues on the cleanup exercise.
Tune in every Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to get all the information about the Ogoni Cleanup project. HyPrep, remediating the environment and restoring livelihoods.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still on to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has met with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. In the meeting, Jonathan briefed his successor on the crisis rocking Mali, calling for dialogue to resolve the problem. Jonathan was accompanied by members of the team on the Economic Community of West African States mission to Mali. This was disclosed in a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina. According to the statement, the former president added that the Constitutional Court had been reconstituted and inaugurated, while vacancies vacancies in the Supreme Court had been filled, thus sorting out the judicial arm of government. On his part, President Buhari thanked Jonathan for what he called the stamina he has displayed on the Mali issue. He also suggested further consultations with the chairman of ECOWAS, President Muhammadu Issoufou of Niger Republic, on the issue. Presidential Aid Laureate Onoche has cautioned the General Overseer of Living Faith Church Worldwide, popularly called Winners Chapel, David Oyedepo, against criticizing the Company and Allied Matters Act CAMA. The federal government had, during his sermon last Sunday, rejected the terms of the CAMA, which proposes to appoint trustees on God by Nigeria.
The government has no right to determine worship time. I saw it on the devil. The same words were used that one registrar general can decide to close the account of a church. And then some fellows under any scheme will want to stifle the church. And then one man will remove the trustee of a church. How dare you and put a manager there? When did you become that dictator? When Jesus called me, were you there? I'm asking for those involved in those schemes, exercise caution. That will stop now. We are the bride of Christ. Anyone that touches his bride touches the apple of his eye.
Well, Laureate Onoche, who is the special assistant to the president on social media, wondered why David Oyedepo is against the new law. Onoche, therefore, argued that since Winners Chapel is regulated in the United Kingdom by the Government Charity Commission, same can be replicated in Nigeria for religious organizations. 2015 told a news conference that he met with Trudeau to inform him that he would not run in the next election and that a new finance minister with a long-term outlook was needed. Moinu said he would now run for the job of Secretary General of the Organization for Economic Cooperations and Development. For the past week, Canadian media had reported on a purported rift emerging between Moinu and Trudeau on how to reboot the Canadian economy weakened by the new coronavirus pandemic. Trudeau is also being probed over his family ties to the We Charity, which paid his wife, brother, and mother nearly $300 Canadian for speaking engagement in recent years. Protesters in Belarus have gathered outside a prison to mark the birthday of the jailed husband of the country's main opposition figure amid anger over a disputed election. Sergei Tikhanovsky, who has just turned 42, was imprisoned alongside other rivals of President Alexander Lukashenko ahead of the 9th August poll. His wife, Svedla Lithuania. She officially secured about 10% of the votes and Lukashenko more than 80%. The opposition has held daily protests over the past 10 days, alleging massive vote rigging in the election. Report says hundreds of protesters have been wounded and 2 have died in clashes with police, while thousands have been arrested. And in sports, Barcelona has announced the sacking of sporting director Eric Abidal following their humiliating exit from the UEFA Champions League. The Blaugrana were thrashed 8-2 by German champions Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals last week, Friday. Manager Kyrgios Setien has already been shown the door, with the club's former defender Roland Koeman being tipped to replace him. And now Abidal, another former player at the club, has been removed from the role he held since June 2018. Abidal's relationship with Lionel Messi had become strained in recent months, with Messi claiming that the Frenchman had been singling out players for blame amidst the sacking of former boss Ernesto Valverde. And in entertainment, a Nigerian artist Folarin Falana has called on the federal government to reopen the entertainment industry. Fowles made the call in a thread of tweets shortly after the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, announced August 29 as a reopening date for international flights. Fowles noted that to function. Like most public places, cinemas, bars, lounges, beaches, and other recreational outlets were shut in March to curtail the spread of coronavirus pandemic. And to end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. Markets across River State have recorded a slow start after Governor Nyesom Wike lifted the ban on operation of markets. Stakeholders have questioned claims of 70% completion of Ogoni cleanup exercise by High Prep. And former President Goodluck Jonathan has met with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. And on the foreign scene, protesters in Belarus have marked the birthday of the jailed husband of country's main opposition figure, Svetlana Skaya. And that was the news edited by Chinedu Iwuna. For comment and inquiries, please call 081-5341-8657 or 081-4434-3502. Or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget your responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap and running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. Thanking you for listening. I am Buchira Fwa. Good evening and good night.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
Yeah, aye, that's so. My people all over the world, man. You know that's funny things, special things. One love, man. You know understand? That's it. Yeah. Hey. See, my people. I see the sun in the sky, but it's an illusion.